We have had a couple of returning guests onto the pod, and this is kind of like a part two. So should we make you officially the first returning guest to keep swinging?
Basically, I mean, you may as well. It's a couple weeks apart, so it doesn't matter the reasons, but it's pretty close. So why not?
All right, cool. So we got podcast history. I'm stoked to do it together.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm excited to get going again.
This is awesome for part two, and where we picked up from the last time. You were just kind of talking about how as soon as you got to AA, that was when you were just like, holy shit, baseball, this is fun.
Yeah. I think, there was a multitude of factors that kind of went into, that reason. But for the most part, it was learning, like I mentioned earlier, about Colby and kind of understanding how to calm myself down on start day, at least until I got out there, and then I could kind of let it play. But no, for some reason in AA, it was a combination of a great pitching coach, Derek Lewis, who's now with the Royals. But D-Lou was perfect for me in that situation because, one, I mean, he let me go out and pitch. He let me go make mistakes, but we would talk about them. We would talk about them in game. It wasn't just like, 2 days later on bullpen day, we'll talk about what you did and what you felt. It was like inning to inning. Well, why don't you do this? What's wrong with this? And I'm not talking about mechanics. I'm not talking about anything. I'm talking about like game planning. And that's where I got to enjoy the game and the art of pitching. And it kept going, man. I think at a certain point in AA, everybody gets to where they think, all right, these guys are, a lot of these guys that I'm seeing, the 3, 4, 5 hitters in most lineups are big prospects. For me, they were all older than me as well, which, I mean, had something to do with it at the beginning. But being able to relax and go out and have success was such a huge confidence boost that year. And I still say that year was really kind of what jumped me into who I am as a pitcher today.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. So you mentioned your age, because then once you eventually got to the big leagues in 2019, you had a handful of starts. And then 2020, what were you, 20 years old at that time?
2019. So I mean,
doing the debut, 18, right?
And I was 20. Yeah. And then, I got hurt 5 starts into that call up. So it was actually 3, and then I threw 2 more and then decided it was time to shut it down. So, and then went out the next full year in 19 and had a pretty good year. So, like I said, it was that confidence, I think, that the Braves showed in Colby and I. We threw our first full season in Low A. We helped win a championship there. That was a lot of fun near at the end. We had a great group. And then they just decided, you know what, we're going to give you guys a challenge. We're going to skip high A. We're going to give you AA. And like I said, having that confidence let me understand, like, all right, if I keep this going, I'll be in the big league soon. And that's the goal, right?
Dude, yeah, it was literally the perfect storm. A team that is looking to just kind of do like a quick young generation wave of young studs. So that was perfect for you. And then what was crazy too is that, like, with so many position players, you hear about the Ronald Acuñas, one of your teammates. You hear about the Vlad Guerreros, the Fernando Tatis Jr.'s, like all these young dudes, right? They're so young, all this stuff. But then there's yourself on the mound. I feel like pitchers should get some more love in this category, because 2020, dude, you hit the scene, man. You were an all-star. You said on Starting 9 podcast before the all-star game, you said that you were just envisioning and thinking about how Pedro Martinez came in and struck out the side, and just you were excited for that trot from the bullpen out to the mound. And then what ended up happening for you is you got those 3 outs right away. You did that strut from the bullpen, man. It worked out perfectly.
No, I got out there and I think that was when people say, did you ever have a moment where you said, pinch me, or, and I don't belong type of moment. And that was one for me where, is basically my first full rookie season. And I got there having basically strung together 12, 13 starts that, it basically happened because, you know, everything was going right. Everything was working for me. I was clicking. Everything I was throwing was working. I'm lucky with a great defense behind me too that year. Um, and like I said, it just worked out. So when I got there, it was kind of one of those situations where you ask yourself, do I actually belong? And I think I got a little too excited for that outing actually, because I knew I was like, all right, you're moving so fast, like you need to calm down, calm down, calm down. And then by the time it was my turn to pitch, by the fifth inning, I'd watched Kershaw and DeGrom and those guys warm up and throw, and I'd calm myself down so much that when I got out there, I was like, I felt like I was moving in slow motion. Um, and I think I went 3-0 on two of the three hitters. And I was thinking, I was like, oh my goodness, like this isn't how I planned it. This isn't how I envisioned it happening. It's just a matter of, figuring it out in the moment and going. So, like again, it worked out. Like I got a 3-0 pop out and a 3-1 pop out, and then a great play from who was at second base? Might have been McNeil. Was playing second that game, and yeah, like I said, it was nice to take a deep breath. That's one situation where you wish you would be able to go back out and prove it again, but that's okay.
Hey, well, you got a full career ahead of you to make it happen again. And
That's
I'm
the
sure it
goal.
will. Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. I just thought it was so cool and good catch. That's right. 2019 Cleveland. Because I was actually there also. I'm surprised we didn't bump into each other. But what did you take home from you as a way to kind of remember the special time for you in your career?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the most amazing part was being able to be there with a couple of family members, my dad and my stepmom, that had kind of been there, watched along the way, and they got to kind of experience it as well. And I think it was just as much of a you know oh my goodness experience for my dad too, because he had been to the South Atlantic League All Star game. He came down to the Double A All Star game, and you know those were good seasons. And you're in pro ball, and they definitely mean something. But as he watched it, he said, "Yeah, you belong there. You're in those games." And then I think the big league All Star game was something that was like, this is it. It doesn't get better. This is the best group of players from this year and that first half season. Yeah, and so it was really cool to experience that with them. And again, be in the clubhouse with some of the guys that have been there like 8, 9 times, and just hear and listen to them. And like I said, it's one of those things where it starts you, and you get the taste of it and you want to go back. So obviously goal number one's being healthy, and then I know once I'm healthy, I can get out there and compete, and the rest is up to that.
Were you able to bring your jersey home or your cleats or anything that you have on display back in the man cave or anywhere at home?
Yeah, yeah, we got lots. I got
Nice.
they give you lots. That's one of the nice parts about between that and it's similar to the futures game when you're stuff like that. They make sure they load you up with quite a bit of memorabilia. So I actually haven't framed the jersey that I got most guys to sign, but that one's gonna go up in my media room. And they sent us home as well with a Woodrow guitars. It's kind of just a special paint on it. It's got your name in the All Star game, so that's another cool one too.
Yeah, those were cool. I saw those, and I remember at the All Star Gala, it was kind of funny just being at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, like having a few drinks, just a couple, no, a lot, but
Yeah.
like being there and like walking around, and you're just like, where am I? What am I doing right now? But yeah, so that's cool that they had that kind of guitar and music spin to it, which is perfect for you because you play a little bit of guitar, and we'll get to that in just a short bit. But yeah, dude, that's so cool. So the reason why I ask that is because the following season, that's when you get your injury. And if everybody is listening to this, I'm sure they can tell that you have a great head on your shoulders, that you're a very optimistic type of dude, well spoken. I was wondering if those certain like pieces of memorabilia that you have, those little reminders that are around the house, serve as reminders of where you have been, where you will be again, Like you said, all things considering, being healthy, being out there, doing what you love to the best of your capability. So in 2020, when you did have that injury, uh, like how did you take it? And I saw a lot of the press conferences, which was kind of tough because it's like during a COVID era, so it's like you're talking to everybody about these updates through these COVID press conferences. Like it didn't seem like the most ideal situation, but it based on from what I'm hearing right now, and again, just your optimism, it seems like that you had the perfect support system around you, and you did done all the right things in order to be healthy.
Yeah, I think it's been a long ride. Like I won't mince words with that. It's been long, and I think anybody can agree with that. I think anybody that goes through any sort of long rehab, doesn't matter if it's one or two, it's long. You're right, and I think the first time through is you take it as stride, and that's what I did. I kind of was just like, all right, what happens, let's go. And the second time was by far the most challenging because you essentially have to deal with a feeling of failure that you failed the rehab, as opposed to understanding that things like this can happen. It was, although it's extremely unlikely, and to this day we still might never really know what happened. um, it's just something that really kind of put me back, and you realize, and you look at those things, you wonder, you're like, you look at your all-star jersey, you look at your some of these awards that I see here at my dad's house, that I brought home over the years, and you wonder, there's still a part of you that wonders, am I ever going to do that again? Am I ever going to be that good again? And that goes for everybody. I don't care what type of injury. My first shoulder, it was small sprain in my subscap, and your mind goes there. So it's not the first time that's happened. I think everybody can agree when guys that get Tommy John, it's there's that same feeling that it's not guaranteed, and I think that's honestly something that helps when you get back to the mound and you are healthy, is that perspective that today isn't guaranteed, neither is tomorrow. You got to go out and put your best foot forward now. And I think that's one of the things that's so beautiful about adversity, is that you're not going to learn those things until something like that happens. So it's just, again, it's been long. I'm way past ready to be back just playing every day, and just getting through regular workouts, getting back out there throwing every fifth day is it's going to be like a dream again. And I think that's another thing with perspective, is that it gets lost after a certain period of time, because it is a grind. It's a difficult thing. You're trying to keep your body in top shape throughout the season. The travel, everything like that. It's still difficult. But once that's been taken away and you get back to it, that feels like the easy part again. And I'm just excited to get back to that.
Dude, 100%. And like you just said, there's got to be that rejuvenating feeling where you're just out there and you just feel like a kid again. And I was talking to Jake Berger, who's somebody who I know you'd been in touch with, because he had something similar happen to him. It's again same thing, two times in the ankle, and he was just saying there were days where he didn't want to get out of bed, and it took a lot just to go out for a hike, just to go out and do those physical things, and just be in the right mental space. And it took him, due to the rehab process and everything, and just being healthy, over, I think there was over a thousand or 1,100 days in between his last professional organized type baseball play. And uh, when he did get back and he played for the White Sox in 2021, dude hits a home run. Like, yo, like you could just tell, like he was like, yes, this is what I went through all these struggles for. So it's going to be the same exact type of thing where it's just like, you're on the sidelines, you're doing everything that you need to in order to get back. And when you get back there, it's going to be so sweet.
Absolutely. And that's a feeling that I'm not sure I've really totally thought about yet. I think that's something that I'd like to leave until it happens. Um, I made it fairly clear to most people, like I'm not out there talking about a huge comeback, you know, because that's months down the road. I'm ready for the rest of today, what I need to do today to be better for tomorrow. And that's I think the only thing that's really gotten me through this second chunk doing okay, is just literally saying, all right, what do I got to do today? Let's go. It's been really helpful actually that I've seen the same people that Jake saw for his rehab up in Green Bay, and that's where I end up going back there every 4 to 6 weeks, and it's been awesome because I get a 4 to 6 week program of something to look forward to in that short time frame. Because this is an injury, I'll say it. I'm not just because I've been through it, but it is one of the toughest rehabs that you can go through, and it's because you start at absolutely zero ability. You know what I mean? Like when you get out of the cast and your foot's at full plantar flexion, you can't stand on it, you can't do anything. And you're sitting there, you're wondering, you're like, how am I supposed to walk? How am I supposed to walk again in 2, 3 months? How am I gonna run? How am I gonna jump off this foot? And then it's slow. So it's been really good to have them to be able to say, all right, we got 4 weeks, 4 weeks, 4 weeks.
Dude, yes, in increments, and just like you said, the day by day type thing too. Because if you look at something as a whole, a lot of baseball players and athletes actually anybody in general will talk about this. Is that if you were to look at something and it just seems like some massive type of goal, you can't look at it that way. You can't think about that year away. You have to do exactly what you said, day by day, or in those increments, like those 4 week periods or those 6 weeks periods. You can't be thinking about the 365 days.
No, and I mean it's good to have those goals. Like obviously, you know, when I lay down, I'm doing visualization and stuff like that. I am thinking about pitching again. I'm thinking about the end goal. But on a day-to-day basis, like you can't you can't sit there and think about what you can't currently do. And I have been in those situations where it's like, you know, I don't know if this is ever going to get there, but slowly but surely it keeps going, and it really is another thing that transfers over to playing. It doesn't matter pitching, hitting. I mean, it doesn't matter even baseball. It's if I'm able to dumb everything down to where I'm thinking about one pitch at a time, that's when things start to happen, and I know what that feels like. I had a period of it, 2019, where that's the only thing I was thinking about. And it wasn't, am I going to make my next start? It wasn't, how am I going to feel my bullpen? What do I need to work on? It was like, what do I need to do this pitch to make it work? And it just kept going. And I know that's what I got to get back to. And having this mentality to really push that home and, focus day to day, I think is going to help me in the long run. And that's how you keep getting better. We see so many times in this game, guys are getting better and better and better. They're starting to find certain keys, especially with baseball, or sorry, pitching mechanics. Things are starting to come to life, and that's something that I'm just starting to get into. And you see guys like Scherzer, Verlander. I've heard really good things about where Justin is in his rehab, and I'm really excited to see him back out there too. And there's a reason those guys have been there for so long. It's because they continually keep getting better. You look at videos of Scherzer from early in his career, even with the Diamondbacks, even with the Tigers, and then you look at things of him now, and he's gotten better. And I'm sure he'd say, he's worked at that, and there's a reason that that's happened. And I think to stick around in this game and prove that you can be one of the best through a decade or more, it comes down to getting better every single day, and that's about it.
We'll never know, but similar to what I was telling Jake, is that I appreciate you, and all the listeners and the viewers definitely must appreciate you sharing that information and just your mindset, because it's got to be helping a lot of people out there who are listening to this and watching this, hearing it come from you, and just that kind of mindset, just helping them big time, you know. And again, like you said, it doesn't have to be baseball. It could be anything that you're doing in life. So we definitely appreciate you sharing that with us, because that's very, very important to a lot of
Yeah.
people, whatever it is that they're going through. So thank you. And it one way that fans have been able to track you, whether it's your baseball career or on social media, man, I'm loving some of these posts. I saw you pop up on Josh Naylor's Instagram stories the other day, shredding the guitar. Man, you got some skills.
Yeah, it's another one that's been a long time coming. I've been playing since I was I guess about 12 years old. Yeah, so I mean 12 years now I've been playing. And I loved it a ton for a few years. Taught myself songs and the things that I wanted to play, which at the time was just classic rock riffs and a lot of 90s uh, big songs, and that was about it. And um, all I really had was traveling with my acoustic in the minor leagues, and I never really got to play it a ton. Um, but that's when I kind of started to get into a little more of the harder rock. I got into the fingerstyle playing, and then wasn't until 2 years ago, I guess, I got my house in Atlanta, and then decided to get myself a all-star present, and I got myself a good PRS custom 24 guitar and one of their amps, which are you know more than enough for my home. And um that's when I kind of started to get into it a little more. And then obviously once quarantine hit, I had all kinds of time to play around with it. So definitely got a lot better over the last 2 years, but it's something I'm going to need to taper back, because I'll sit there and play for 2 hours and then find out my shoulder's tight. No, I gotta watch that.
Dude, but no, man, you're nice with it, man. I saw it, and I wouldn't be surprised if I see you holding a guitar and a baseball card one day, a little throwback Bernie Williams type style. But who would have thought that you playing the guitar and like such a huge gift to yourself eventually was going to be one just out of a Christmas gift that you got as a kid?
Yeah, I think I started to get into it right after Guitar Hero came out. Um, I absolutely love that game. My sister got it for me for Christmas. So I was probably about 10 years old. And that's all I played. Seriously, that's kind of what got me into that music. I never played Call of Duty. I never played on anything. It was Guitar Hero. And eventually I got to the point where it wasn't a challenge anymore. I had beaten all the songs on Expert and everything, and it was like, you know what, I want to play these. And I got to the real guitar, and then once my dad knew that I wasn't just gonna drop it, he got me a couple of really nice guitars. I'm actually looking at right now at the an SG and a nice Tech Mini made in Japan. So they're going to be with me for a long time, and it's going to be a skill that I love to do, and I'll be able to play those a lot longer than I can play baseball.
Hell yeah, man. You're one of these days you're gonna have to record a song, so then when you walk up onto the mountain, you got that blasted on the stadium speakers behind you.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I got a couple. I got a couple of bands that I have for go-to songs, and I'm sure I'll try and mix in the hard rock scene in Atlanta.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I want to touch on too before we wrap up and go to the bonus content was, dude, Wim Hof. You're a big guy when it comes to Wim Hof breathing. My buddy James Van Riemsdyk, I'm sure you know who he is on Philadelphia Flyers. He's into it too. He texted me a video when they had that game out on Lake Tahoe that they did a polar plunge, right? That's the correct term.
Yeah, yeah. There's a bunch, but yeah, that works.
Yeah, out in Lake Tahoe. So that was a pretty cool place to do it at. But yeah, man, so you're into that same type of stuff. It's pretty cool to see it take over sports.
Yeah, I think there's a ton of benefit, and there's so much research that's actually coming out now where um, and it all really has to go down to temperature regulation of your body. Um, the one thing that I actually really kept was the breathing, because there is more coming out that although it's good to get in really cold water and shock your body and be able to actually breathe through it. As far as recovery goes and a lot of other things, heat's actually being, you know, is coming out as being quite a bit more beneficial for actually recovering your body and actually, you know, not stopping the inflammation, but actually using it to help in your recovery of those muscles. You know, it's kind of a balance now. When I get back to it, it's going to be like, you know, I'm going to just go sit in our sauna for
Yeah, I was
15
gonna
minutes
say, you
as
got one
long as
at
I
the
can. And
house.
then we do actually hit home. Yeah, my dad and stepmom
Nice.
have one, so I use it quite a bit when I'm home, and then go into a plunge for 30 seconds, a minute, not long enough to actually um, constrict much. That way, because again, in a situation where you're actually trying to make something better in about 5 days, which is my situation. I didn't get just beat up in a hockey game and have to do it again tomorrow, because then, yeah, if you want to delay inflammation, then sure, it's fine. But over 5 days period, I want to get it through and I want to get it running. If I'm sore on day 2, I really don't care. I need to feel at my best on day 5. So I really kept up with the breathing. That's something I do. Every start day morning when I wake up, I usually get something quick to eat and then hit back to the couch or the bed and do the Wim Hof breathing. And there's a ton to support being able to kind of separate body and mind and essentially get good at dealing with stress. And I think that's what's most beneficial. And I noticed it being out in a stressful situation. You got 40,000 screaming people, but you're kind of in your own space and you're able to separate again what's going on and just do your job. And I think that's where I found the most benefit to it.
Yes, and it's something that you have to work at. You don't just wake up and all of a sudden you have this great like mental game, or like breathing techniques down. Like, it's something that you legit have to work at and improve on, just like any other skill or talent. So that's cool that you've developed that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it
Dude,
is
my
kind of
man's
funny.
gonna be unstoppable. Let's go, baby. I'm stoked. Take the mound right
I mean,
now.
that's the goal. That's the goal. But
Yeah.
I mean, when I started, you hit it, if you're doing it properly, you're getting rushes of feelings that you would never expect to get from just breathing. And you hear some stories about some people that they get extremely emotional, like they cry. And that didn't happen to me, but I understand it, because what you're doing to yourself is again essentially a low grade stress that you're dealing with and learning how to process. And I don't know, it's something that I got to liking, especially as a routine thing on start day. And it is cool to see the times go up. I think when I started, it was like minute and a half, 2 minute holds, and just, I mean, a couple months ago there, I was in a hyperbaric chamber that the Braves have, and I got first one over 5 minutes now to hold my breath for. So it's kind of cool to see that. And like I said, it's just something else to chase.
Dude, 100%. I'll text James too. I'll be like, dude, I was able to breathe just through my nostrils for 7 minutes on the bike. And I'm like, but it's like you said, it's that working up, and you feel so good when you do see that progression. But yeah, dude, I love it, man. Well, I want everybody to be able to follow you. See you do big things on the baseball field. So where can everybody go? Shoot at your social media platforms.
I think it's just, if you look up Mike Soroka, you'll find it. I think it's like Mike Soroka _ on Instagram. Forget what it is on Twitter. I'm not really on Twitter much anymore. Instagram's good though. Good process. And obviously when I get back out there, start to get a little more active, and then maybe one day get the guitar stuff out there.
Yeah, no, big time. Can't wait to see those videos. But dude, you're the man. I appreciate you hopping on for the second time. And yeah, we're going to have to do this again. But until then, dude, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And good luck with the season that you're in right now, or whenever it is that you're listening to this. But dude, you are the man. Thank you so much for hopping on. Keep swinging.
Thank you, Matthew. I really appreciate you having me, man. Thank you.